student 2 years of free college that is willing to work for it. I'm extremely in support of this. It has worked very well for many other countries like Norway, Germany, and Sweden. Why shouldn't we be doing it? I thought, wow, a more educated America. What could go wrong with that? Especially since a 2-year degree serves the same purpose that a high school diploma used to. Times change and we need to roll with it. In Obama's speech, he said, education helps us become better people. It helps us be better citizens. You come to college to learn about the world and engage with new ideas and discover things you're passionate about. Have a little fun and expand your horizons. College is a ticket to the middle class. I agree with Obama 100%. Being a child from a middle-class working family, I could have really used a break considering my parents aren't paying for any of my tuition. Now, most of you don't know much about me, but I came from a very happy home. We didn't always have money, and at one point in my early childhood, I would have been considered the lower class. My dad drove trucks for Texaco, and my mom worked a 9-to-5 shift in a local parts store. Then something really amazing happened. Texaco merged with Shell, and my dad got a promotion to work in a plant. With his promotion, he was able to help my mom start her own business in oil field supplies. And living the way we did, we no longer had to worry about money. The typical American dream. We had enough to put food on the table, clothe ourselves, and enjoy life just a little bit more. Growing up, I never knew I was poor. I never knew the financial burdens my parents had to go through just to make sure I was happy. But now I do know. Since we were so poor growing up, after graduation, I did not have any funds for college. College was out of the question. I got my cosmetology license instead and did a job I hated because that was my only choice. Fast forwarding 3 years later, I'm paying my own bills, taking out several thousands of dollars in loans, working 2 part-time jobs just so I can have a better future. I would not wish the stressful burden of working several part-time jobs, taking out thousands of dollars in loans, and trying your hardest to keep up your GPA on my worst enemy. So long story short, I am very thrilled with the idea that upcoming generations could get a break and be able to experience life like I am at a cheaper cost for free. And I honestly can't think of a decent reason as to why someone would not support this. I know many people find taxes a very scary thing. Most of us being college students should know how the government works, so I will not take too much time on it. But in a nutshell, the government is set up to make our lives easier. We pay taxes to cover a lot of things, like our roads being paved and prisoners kept in prisons so they're not on the street. If taxes need to be raised a little to ensure a more prosperous economy in the long run by sending those who can't afford college, that is a very small price to pay. If I am sitting here because I have the funds for school, even if I will be thousands of dollars in debt and working 2 part-time jobs, who am I to deny that right to someone who doesn't have that opportunity? Everyone in America should get the chance at a decent life. After all, that is what America is about. However, if Joe Biden has his way about it, that is not how the plan will be funded. Joe Biden says, here is what we propose. Close loopholes for the wealthy investors and levy a 0.07% fee on the highest banks to discourage the kind of risky behavior that crashed our economy just a few years ago. Doing just that will pay for free community college. He goes on to explain that while there will still be more fees like transportation, childcare, food and housing, tax breaks, and financial aid would help cover the rest. He wants his plan to be put into action so our government doesn't hit a recession and crash our economy again, and to overall maintain a more dominant country that is more educated, America. According to Obama, to make this happen, students have to keep up their grades and stay on track to graduate. States have to contribute 25% of the cost as federal takes the rest, and hold community colleges accountable for the results. Community college must maintain a high graduation and job placement rates. The bill only covers the cost of classes that can be transferred to 4-year degrees. That means the cost of a 4-year degree will be cut in half, resulting in less debt, but it's not wasting money on classes that are pointless. According to Joe Biden, access to higher education has a tangible impact on a student's success. Those with an associate's degree earn 25% more than folks who graduated high school, and those with a 4-year degree make 70% more. Not only that, but a better educated citizenry is necessary to ensure that the United States continues to outcompete the rest of the world. When our parents were growing up, they could go far with a high school diploma. My sister, who is just 15 years older than me, has a good job in a law office with just a 2-year degree from a community college. Our generation is expected to get a 2-year degree at least, as that is the new high school diploma. With that being said, a 2-year degree does not do much for our generation. The better jobs are obtained by 4-year degrees and even graduate school. How can we expect to have an educated society if the first class stays in the first class suffering? Because after all, a team is only as strong as its weakest link. But you have to understand there will always be a lower class. Not everyone has the desire to go to college. Brazil offers free college. Germany offers free college even to Americans in English. Finland offers free college, but you have to pay for everyday expenses. France offers free college if your parents are unemployed. Norway offers free college, extending it to international students. In Slovenia, all you have to do is pay registration fees. In Denmark, everything is free and you get a $900 check to live on. Like those countries, we need to understand free college is an investment by the government. So when you graduate, you stimulate the economy with high-paying jobs. The government, in return, gets more skilled workers. Free market economies, like Japan, have a smaller income gap. Unlike us, they are generally happier. Sending people to college will close our gap and have the same results. My parents and myself were allowed to live out the American dream with Dad's promotion and Mom's grand opening of her business 8 years ago. Am I going to college so I can pursue mine? Why should I or anyone else stand in the way of someone else having the resources to choose theirs? Can you imagine a world where everyone is able to meet their full potential? She said that was 5 minutes, and he said to stop, so I don't know what time that was.
You stopped right on the dot of 6 minutes.
But it's supposed
I could go to 7.
But isn't it supposed to be a 5 to 7 minutes?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
Just making sure.
Yeah, you're good.
I didn't want that 10-point deduction.
All right, let's get right to it.
So, Obama's 2-year college plan, would that basically take the place of the last 2 years of high school? Because, well, you said that a 2-year degree nowadays is basically like a high school.
Well, yeah, in theory, you can't graduate, you can graduate high school after 2 years, but it doesn't exactly take the place. But our economy is growing to where we want smarter people, so the smarter people are obtaining the 2-year degree, but they're getting the same pay rates as they did when they graduated high school. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like seriously, but it's like in theory. Because like our parents could graduate high school and get a job. Like my sister 15 years ago has a good job with a 2-year degree, but it means if you got a 2-year degree now, you could luck out if you had like the right resources and if you knew the right people, but it's hard to get a job with a 2-year degree because everyone's going to college now.
What about the people who are paying for college now? Because we're making sacrifices in order to pay for it, but then when it's free for other people.
Well, yeah, but if the plan comes into action in 10 years, I would still be willing. I can't say to myself, I'm not calling you selfish at all, but I can't say to myself, I didn't get it for 2 years, so they don't deserve it for 2 years. Like, we have to be a country that progresses. So to deny someone that 2 years, even our like potential children, in like 20 years from now, if they could get it for 2 years for free, and I didn't, I wouldn't be like upset because I didn't get it. So I doubt that they'll take away your debt of that 2 years. But it would be better for our economy if we did have the 2 years of free college. It kind of sucks for us that we didn't get it, but
Snow?
you had a question first.
Yeah, how much does this program probably cost?
They said over 10 years it'll cost $60 billion, or $60 million. $60 million. There's a big difference. But it's tangible, it's doable. Like I said, all these countries are switching to it. Like I don't understand why we can't offer this to people who can't afford it.
They did say, like, well, I heard a politician say one time, it's not really free college since someone has to pay for it.
Well, yeah, that's like we don't have our roads paid for free because that's where the taxes are going. But like Joe Biden said, so I don't understand how we went into recession. All I know is a bunch of wealthy people investing in the stock market, doing some crazy things with their money that put us in the recession. So he's wanting to put more taxes on theirs, which I guess is kind of taxing the rich more. But putting the taxes on theirs and turning that money into community college. If that can actually happen, I don't know, because like politicians promise a lot of things.
We'll take the last question because we want to move on.
Do you know exactly when it's supposed to take place?
It's going to have to be voted in, so it hasn't. Not many people are for it.
Well, do you think it will affect, and this is Obama's last year as being president?
So I did think that maybe he was trying to get this to maybe like support himself. I don't know, for people to like him more. But I mean, it's not like he can be voted in again.
Right.
He's already done his 2 terms.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm thinking, most of all plans that he put in place, I'm hoping, there are good plans that he has, but would it, it seemed like to me, sometimes it seemed like it will affect that he's out of office and someone stepped in because they might try and demolish his plan that's actually helping the economy.
I bet someone could, like the next person come in and say, this is absolutely ridiculous. I bet that will happen, but I still support it 100%. I think we should have it.
I'm sorry, Snow, you did have a question. I didn't mean to close it down before your question.
So, can I say it?
Yes. Quickly, thank you.
Has the president or any of his office people said anything that the mandatory requirements for high school? Because I think it's kind of like BS if someone who just slacked off all through high school, but the teacher just asked them just to pass them and go to college for free for 2 years when this does get passed against someone who actually worked hard, but he couldn't go to a 4-year college because he couldn't afford it, so he decided to go to a 2-year college and take that opportunity.
Well, if someone's slacking off, like myself, if I had slacked off in high school, which I did slack off in high school, I didn't go to college right out of high school. I could have taken out loans like I am now, but then I got into the job industry and was like, holy crap, no, I have to go back to school, this sucks. And then so I did come back, and now I have like a really good GPA, but I don't understand why someone would take advantage of that. Besides, like, it says that you have to maintain a certain GPA. Even when you apply for FAFSA, you can't have criminal charges on your background, so I assume that that would be in there too. And so, what was your question? If it'll affect it. So, I mean, if you get kicked out of the program, you'll have to pay it back. I mean, if you like flunk out, they will make you pay that money back. Like, they're not just going to give you free money to flunk out of community college.
Okay, guys, we're gonna stop it right